All right, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Welcome to 24K Movies, Television, and Video Game Reviews. That's right, it is 2026, and we have our first official review of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got finished watching Stranger Things, the season finale, and oh boy, do we have to talk. Hello, ladies and jelly spoons. Welcome to 24K. And as I said, Happy New Year. It's 2026. We are here with our first review of the new year. And ladies and gentlemen, we just got done watching the season finale of Stranger Things Season 5. Now, first off and foremost, I am going to pull no punches. We are not scripted. We do not have our viewpoint paid for. We give it to you straight. And look, you may have a different opinion from me. By all means, that's all right. It's okay. It's straight. But I'm going to give you straight. If it's good, we give it straight. If it's down, we give it straight. We let you know. Now, Stranger Things, I have been a fan. Season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, there have been some continuity issues going into season 5, and the fact that we had to wait like 5 years in order to get to season 5, well, that left a little bit of saline in a lot of people's mouth, including my own, a little bit of saltiness. You know what I'm saying? That they like 36 years old now, they got lower back pain and premature, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? They got mortgages and children, and they could drive themselves, but they still playing, you know what I'm saying, teenagers in school. That aside, I'm going to put that to the side. First of all, I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. Pause. I'm going to use Kate Bush running up that hill a lot of times because they use it a lot of times. Everything but the season finale, which surprised me because music has been a very huge portion of the Stranger Things show. However, when it comes to the season finale, that was taken off the table. Don't know why. I don't care why. But music was another character that was sadly forgotten in the Stranger Things season finale. I did not like that. So, of things I did not like, I wish I could put a counter up here somewhere. Bing! That is one thing I did not like about the Stranger Things season finale. You took music off the table. I did not like it. Number 2, well, I'm going to come back to that. Just pause that. All right, so season 5 started off weirdly. First of all, can anybody tell me why? Can anybody tell me why we die? Bones Thugs and Harmony. Can somebody tell me how the Upside Down in the previous season had demo bats? You know what I'm saying? It had like vines. It had like the very air you breathe is a poison that poisons the body that will kill you. Why, everybody who went into the Upside Down from the moment they got there began to expire and was going to be dead within a week's end. But now all of a sudden, the Upside Down has become a vacation spot. The military lived there. They got a bunch of houses and things living there. People are vacationing there. People can spend weeks and days and whole episodes and seasons in the Upside Down, and they're perfectly fine. You know, there ain't no more demo bats, you know what I'm saying? There's no more wild demo gorgons, you know what I'm saying, running around, you know, picking people off. And, you know, out of nowhere, there's this gigantic fleshy wall, which, you know, the Upside Down has been there since season 1, but this gigantic wall has just shown itself, you know. Somehow, some way, it's there now, but nobody knows. And the military, you know what I'm saying, they become so familiar with the Upside Down that they set up a base inside the Upside Down, you know what I'm saying? They're fine with it there. You know, ain't no demo attacks, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing stopping them, you know, unless the demos, you know, decide they want to go to them, and then they're ripped apart in a microsecond. See, I would think if something is that dangerous, I wouldn't build a base right next to where they live. If they could rip us apart, if one of them could rip us apart, you know what I'm saying, like we a street taco in 5 seconds flat. I mean, saying like 2 demo dogs ripped apart a whole battalion of people in like 2.1 milliseconds. But we gonna build a base and a home right down there next to them, you know, a home where the demos live. But don't worry about that, because the script take care of that. Don't worry about that. You perfectly fine where you at in the Upside Down. This is a different Upside Down. Don't worry about that. What about the demo bats that come down that rip people to shreds? Oh, they ain't there no more. They done moved on to better, bigger pastures. They ain't in this part of the upside down no more. I got problems. I got problems with you treating the upside down like it's a vacation home now. The upside down was the most dangerous, nightmarish place. And you established that season 1, 2, 3, and 4. You established how dangerous the upside down was. And from the moment people went there, they pretty much, if you didn't get them out within a week's time, they were dead. They were dead, dying, dead-ish, some form of expiring. They were not going to make it. Did we forget this? Did we forget that Vecna now talks to people? See, Vecna, season 4, he shows up in your bedroom, he holds his hand in the air and crunches you like you a snack pack from way back in a knapsack. He was crunching people like we used to crunch Coke cans back in 1985 after lunch and making a rim shot across the room in the lunchroom. But now Vecna got to talk to you. He wants to explain things. You know, he wants to sit down and have a talk. He's become debonair and suave. He's no longer the guy who just rips you apart ear from ear. He was like a Cenobite. He was literally a Hellraiser Cenobite in season 4. But now he's toned down. He's now toned down in season 5. Bing! Didn't like that. You literally nerfed Vecna. Ding! Didn't like that. So you nerfed the upside down. Ding! Didn't like that. You nerfed the Demogorgons. Ding! Didn't like that. You nerfed Vecna himself. Bing! Didn't like that. You nerfed Henry. Ding! Didn't like that. So as the episodes go along, we start to learn that these people have trained and prepared for the upside down in Vecna. And I'm like, okay, they've learned something. They're learning to go after these Demogorgons. Now, it's funny, the military, with all their weaponry and grenades and abilities and tactics, can't take down Demogorgons, can't take down Demo Dogs, or any form of the upside down. But apparently the J Squad of Hawkins High School is more than capable of taking them down. Now, this is where I have a problem. I called it Jon Snow suffering because they preview Will as having powers that rival Vecna. He can stop and crunch and rip apart Demogorgons like Vecna does people. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see this battle. I can't wait to see Will fight Vecna. Power against power, crunch against crunch. They're going to be throwing each other against the room, and they're going to be white eyeballs, and they're going to be flinging each other and crunching each other and snapping limbs. It's going to be a mind flay power off. Spoiler alert. That don't happen. Oh, by the way, in case you don't know, and you haven't seen season 5, spoiler alert. I should have done this in the beginning, but you 8 minutes in now. Sorry, boo-boo. Spoiler alert in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I ain't give you none of the finale yet, so you got spoiled now. So now it's spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear and you ain't seen the season finale, you might want to look away. Look away! Look at the flowers, Lucy. Look at the flowers. Okay, so like I said, I'm very pissed off about that because, like I said, just like Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, you build up Jon Snow as a super powerful character. He came back from the dead. He has all these abilities. You wait to see this gigantic battle, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry to inform you, that doesn't happen. Will is used one way during the ultimate battle, and that is to go into the mind of Henry Creel and make him realize he was a victim too. This has to stop. This has to stop. My biggest pet peeve of bad guys and evil guys in modern movies. See, when we grew up, there was just evil bad guys. They weren't misunderstood. They weren't abused children. They weren't victims who changed into evil predators. They just were evil, bad, mindless, psychotic, evil things. There was no motivation. There was no victim blaming. There was no they grew up wrong and this what happened to them. This is what happens in modern movies. Modern movies, they have this sympathy for the bad guy thing. And I hate it. I can't stand it because it's just like, oh, he's misunderstood. You know, he was raised wrong. He's bad. This happened. Look, evil does not need a reason to be evil. It just is. And that makes it even scarier. That makes it even scarier because there is not something you can solve in the beginning equation of it. It just is. I'll give you an example. Pumpkinhead. Is Pumpkinhead misunderstood? Is he a child that was abused? No. He is a demon. He is a demon that is enacting vengeance. Vengeance that somebody called upon him. It is not a misunderstanding. He was not abused as a child, and when he is set forth on you, he will rip through you like Swiss cheese. That is old school. New school is, oh, he was a kid that was made fun of in the schoolyard and he went to a pumpkin field and he fell upon a bunch of pumpkins and they teased him and somehow a pumpkin god gave him powers and he decided to enact vengeance on the children from the pumpkin field. No. All the killers now, all the beings, all the evil now has to have a sympathy thing. And I'm sad to say Stranger Things has fallen to the same ability. Will goes into Vecna's mind and realizes that Vecna was a child who came upon a guy who took advantage of him and hurt him, and he had to hurt the guy. Now, here's where I have a problem. Because either I'm wrong and I don't understand Stranger Things, and I've watched all 5 seasons, or you guys fucked up your own lore. So, explain to me this. On one hand, we have a story of a bunch of kids being taken away from their parents, experimented on, and their powers are being harnessed by the government so that they can be weapons. You then have one of these experimental children fighting another experimental child, forcing them through a wall, using their powers into a dark dimension, turning them into a creature. That creature lives in this place called the Upside Down. They decide they want revenge for some reason. So they decide to come back through in order to enact the revenge. Let's just say that's one story, okay? Now let's just say there is a human kid who walks into a cave, finds a guy with a suitcase who happens to have a meteorite piece of the Upside Down, or let's just say we don't know what it is because they won't tell you and you're not going to find out what the hell it is. And guess what? This is the last episode, so you're not going to know. Let's just say that. So this guy tries to kill him for some reason. So he kills the man in the briefcase. He picks up said meteorite. It goes into his hand. And now he has been taken over by the Mind Flayer. And now he is Vecna. But wait a minute. I thought El created Vecna by pushing him into this dimension. Now this is a different story. Now hold on. Wait. If that's not confusing enough, now you have a story where you're getting a flashback where Henry Creel is a teenager in a school with Byers and Joyce and everybody else, and they're going to this dance, and he's walking through a hallway, and everybody's going to this stage play and this thing and everything, and it's like the Enchantment Under the Sea dance or some shit. And you're like, well, wait a minute. He's human, and he's going to a school with all the people of Hawkins. So he's targeting the children of these parents for some reason. So there's a reason why there's a reason why he's going after these particular kids. So clearly they're going to suss this out. No, they don't. that doesn't get taken care of. That's a storyline that never gets sussed out. That doesn't happen. Okay, well, the music means something. Running up that hill, and will I stay or will I go? That's a tethering thing so that when Vecna's in your mind, you can pull back. No, that was something, but clearly that's nothing now. Okay, so was that just a storyline that was going somewhere that got cut and didn't do anything? No. Well, I don't know. And this is the questions that I began to have when I entered season 5. Because on one end, either something is or something isn't. And this is my problem with Stranger Things, the final season. On one hand, you have a Demogorgon take out an entire elite group of special forces military with guns, grenades, and weaponry. And then on the other hand, you have a mother in a kitchen with a glass bottle slicing at a Demogorgon. She takes a slash to the jugular, both carotid arteries taken, and a slash through the chest. She lives. All the other military people die. One slash and they're dead. She lives, and she takes one down with a glass bottle. They have guns and bullets. What?
Even the dad took a lot of heavy damage, and he still managed to survive too.
Oh yeah, can we talk about the father? This son bitch took a Demogorgon slash to the chest and went through like 2 cement walls. Yet we don't hear a thing about him until he's at the graduation. Now the mom limps down the hallway to save the children from 3 demo dogs. 3 demo dogs. Do you remember the Russian scene? When the demo dogs and the Demogorgon were fighting the Russians? Do you remember how dangerous the Demogorgons are and the demo dogs? You remember Sean Astin fighting the demo dogs? Do you remember all the capable people fighting demo dogs and demo bats? Demogorgons are very, very fierce and bad. Yet, in season 5, you allow me to believe that a simple mother can take down 4 Demogorgons. 4. And look, y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want to and find whatever excuse you want to, but bullshit is still bullshit for the sake of being bullshit. Just like Will holding Max kicking a Demogorgon dog down the hallway. Look, I know movies got a movie, TV got a TV, and in the script, stuff got to happen and you got to keep people alive. But let me explain something to you. Part of your season finale, and I know it's probably in the contract that nobody wanted to die and nobody wanted to be written off, but here's the thing. You teased how dangerous this final season would be. How much loss, how much pain, how much effort would be put into this season. Yet here we are at the end of the season, and the only body count we got was from the military. None of our main characters died, but Callie. And let's just face it, she's not a main character. Matter of fact, that was probably one of the weakest storylines you had in the previous seasons. Matter of fact, I think that was her arc was one of the lowest rated storylines you've had in your previous seasons. I don't know why you needed to suss her back, except for to make that weak ass ending arc with Mike discussing that in the game. Which, by the way, that's bullshit. The whole leaving it open whether or not Ella's alive or dead. Look, we did not need an extra almost hour at the end to lace up and sew up everybody's stories. Way too much. First of all, when Vecna died, and I was like, wait a minute, we still got like over an hour left. First of all, you killed Vecna way too easy. The level of power and ability you gave him, first of all, hold. We ain't gonna speedball through this. You expect me to believe, and you didn't show it. This is why I know it's bullshit. There is a group of human beings that made it in the Upside Down, from the ground to the sky. To the sky, I will say that again. To the sky through a rift where Vecna's land is. They climbed up there. You with me so far? Climbed up there. Now, they don't show them climb up there because it wasn't in the budget. Matter of fact, there are 4 scenes of people going up there. Now, there is a scene in the previous episode where they show Holly falling for a whole episode. She is falling. They're showing how high the sky is in the Upside Down. She's falling for like 24 minutes. Like for 24 minutes straight, she's just falling and falling and falling. And I'm like, damn, that Upside Down sky must be really, 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 really high. So I know it's high. But in this episode, the ending episode, it's right there. Like it's just right there. So they don't never show you how people get up there. But the first group of people, let's just say they made it up there through like the 500-foot tower where the Earth was colliding with the planet. Let's just say. First of all, the 500-foot tower, they told you take your time, and they showed the able-bodied children climbing the tower. At what point... Come here. Because I'm going to say it. Oh, I'm going there. At what point did Winona Ryder climb that 500-foot tower to go up into Vecna's lair? I don't remember seeing the scene because it wasn't there, but she damn sure was up next to Will in Vecna's lair, which means she climbed that 500-foot tower and she climbed up into the Upside Down, yet there's no footage of her doing it. I wonder why. You know what? Pause. We'll come back to that. So then we have Elle, who, after she goes through her thing in the lab, I'm gonna come back to that. She comes through her thing in the lab. She tells Hopper, look at those rock formations. I can hop and jump to each one of those, because in the previous episodes we seen her leap over a fence, and in the first episode we saw her training. She's doing her special leap, like an X-Men, and I was like, okay, so we gonna see this leap come in handy somewhere.
Yeah, we didn't even see it.
So she tells us about leaping, and then Hopper tells us, well, what if you don't make it? And I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be an amazing scene they're setting up with these hops. Like, he tells her, what if you don't make it? And I was just like, so I gotta see her do this Mario Brothers Final Fantasy hop. This is gonna be amazing. So then the next scene, so Elle's just there. So I was like, well, surely they're gonna show us a flashback of, how she, Mario Brother hopped along the mountains, these little rock formations going thousands of miles up into the sky to get to the upside, to where Vecna's lair is. Of course they're gonna show it. No, they don't. They don't at all. They don't. She's just there. They tell you about this amazing scene. She tells you and explains how she can hop from rock formation to rock formation, floating in the sky, to make it to Vecna's lair. A very amazing sounding scene. And they don't even show it. I was almost 100% they was going to show it in the flashback. They don't show it. Nope. Don't do it. Not at all. So, it was at this point where I'm like, all right, you losing me. You fucking losing me. Because for a season finale that's supposed to be going all out, you done cut a lot of shit from this episode. There is a lot of shit missing. A lot. Like a lot of shit. Now, in the previous episodes, they showed the high school scene where you see Winona Ryder young, you hear about Hopper, you hear about all these people in the hallway scene, and you're like, oh, I saw the paper and I saw the names on it, so clearly Henry has something to do with it, so this is going somewhere. Like, we're gonna figure out what the play is, or what he did in the play, or why he chose the children. Come here. Guess what? They don't do shit with it. They don't do shit with it. They don't do shit. They don't do shit with it. You hear me? This is the last episode. Now remember, it's not like it's gonna be another episode coming on like previously on last week's episode. This is the finale. This is where it's supposed to happen. Nowhere with it. So I'm like, seriously, like, fuck this shit. Like, no. Like, this is your finale, dog. You made us wait 5 years for this. 5 years. And then I'm like, it's got to be a copy of this out there that's not edited. Like, it's got to be like a director's cut. Like, maybe this was edited for content or something like that. Because it seemed like there is so much shit just cut from this. And I'm like, this can't be the final product. It can't be. So I'm still watching it because I'm still on board, but I'm sitting back and forth in my seat. And like, first of all, I was comparing it, Welcome to Derry, season 1, not even their series finale, season 1 with Stranger Things series finale. Let's just take that off the table, because Stranger Things season 5 ain't touching it, Welcome to Derry. It ain't touching it. So I'm just going to do this by itself. I was going to marinate the two and compare the two. It ain't touching it. It, Welcome to Derry, is on its own level up here, and I'm going to leave Stranger Things just right here. So, we've established that they won't show how people are getting from the ground of the Upside Down up into Vecna's lair. And I'm just like, okay, so this is the second scene. He's not going to show it. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. We still got the showdown with Elle and the showdown with Will. This is going to be happening. This is going to be banging. This is going to be amazing. Now, it's at a certain point that I realized that what Vecna was standing in is an upside down spider, like a spider husk. And the beating heart is the heart of the spider. If you didn't get that, I don't know. Like, you weren't paying attention. So it was at this point, and the reason why I drew the parallel between it, Welcome to Derry, and Stranger Things 5 is because of this. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but I did. Sorry. You guys heard of a movie called It? Stephen King's It? You ever read the book? Well, here's the thing. At the end of the book, Pennywise the clown is a giant alien spider from another planet. But in another form, he goes after children. That sounds familiar. Vecna is a form of a creature that's going after children who, in this final form, serves a gigantic spider from another dimension. I wish I could make this up. Giant spider from another planet. Stranger Things, giant spider from another planet. Both have entities that go after children. I'm surprised a lawsuit wasn't meant right there. Even though you changed the names and a variety of things, that premise right there, come on. Come the fuck on, dude. Come on. Be original. Be original on that. So, here's the thing. I'm keeping straight with y'all. We gonna keep it straight. We're in a point right now where we've seen a lot of movies. We've seen a lot of content. We've digested a lot of movies. When we see something that's bullshit, we call it out. That's bullshit. You guys had 5 years on filming your final season, and this is what you come up with. Now, here's the great part. It was at a certain point that I was just like, I can't wait to see Will and his Demogorgon controlling powers. He has the same powers as Vecna. I can't wait to see Will and Elle stand together and face off against Vecna. I can't wait to see that. Guess what? That don't happen either. Nope. Does Will get into the battle with him? No. And can somebody please tell me how Will and Winona Ryder, Joyce, are standing right outside of the home of the spider? He comes to life, stomps all around, and chases the children in every direction. Will and Winona are not touched. And then the script and the episode forgets about Will for about 20 minutes. Everybody else is fighting this gigantic spider, and you got Rambrett, who became Rambo in the female version, and she's cocking the gun and shooting the spider and biting off grenades and tossing it in there. And don't worry, I got this, run, get to the chopper, I got this. And I'm like, where's Will? Can't he use his powers and crunch the spider, pick up a mountain, shove it down his throat? Where's Will? And it's at this point that the script forgets about Will for 20 minutes. I kid you not. I was even saying it like, where's Will? Where's Will? Where's Will? Did he get stepped on by the spider? Then I was like, where's Joyce? The spider stepped right over. They had to step on them. I was like, so are they dead? Maybe he killed them. But no. Elle shows up. Remember how she was Donkey Konging it from rock to rock formation and the upside down to get to the sky? That would have been an awesome scene. We don't get that. She's just there. And she force powers a rock into the spider's mouth. Now the other kids who were running away from Rambrett, who said, I got this, there is a mountain 500 miles away. They run to this mountain 500 miles away, climb this 700-foot mountain all in the space of 3 minutes, and get to the top so that they can throw fire bombs and stuff on this gigantic spider while she's inside with the shotgun shooting a gigantic spider before Elle saves them. Now Elle magicians herself up in the air and jumps into the spider to fight Vecna. Now it's at this point, I'm almost 100% sure Will is on the way. No Will. So she commenced to fighting Vecna while the people on the outside fight the spider. And this goes on for like 5-6 minutes. And I said again, where is Will? He has one of the strongest, not even Elle has the ability to take down demigorgons like this. Where is this powerful Will we was introduced to in the last episode? Where is this powerful Will? Guess what? He's in Vecna's mind. Learning that Vecna, he's a victim too. And he's learning and teaching Vecna that you have a choice to be good. That you're a victim too. You don't have to be bad. You can be good too. Now, while Will could be, you know what I'm saying, neo-matrixing himself up into the spider with Elle fighting back to back, being a badass confrontation with Elle and Will tag teaming Vecna back and forth with white eyeballs and mind control and powers, we don't get that fight. We get Will on the ground somewhere. He avoided the spider somehow. They don't even show that. Like I said, they lost him for 20 minutes. But we get Elle fighting Vecna. And somehow gains the upper hand. Now it's at this point that we realize that the Mind Flayer controls Vecna. So Vecna is not the Mind Flayer. So then who can tell me how destroying Vecna destroys the Mind Flayer? If Vecna did not create the Mind Flayer. That means if you destroy Vecna, then the Mind Flayer still remains. And the proof in this is that when Vecna was destroyed, the Upside Down remained. So something still is there. And that husk is still there. The heart dried up, which means it's still there. The entity known as the Mind Flayer has not been destroyed. Only Vecna. Now, you would think that is the end of Vecna, but no, because somehow Joyce makes her way inside the spider along with everybody else, and she is the one that delivers the chopping blow to Vecna's head to take him off. The whole time, everybody else is attached up to the spider by their mouths, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's still over an hour left. Clearly, this is not the end. He's gonna get back up. There's the mind flare. There's more to this. Like, this ain't the end. This can't be the end. This can't be the end. This can't be the end. And then you hear soft music, and I'm like, this better not be the end. There's over an hour left. This better not be the end. And guess what? It's the end. And I'm like, so nobody died besides Callie, which, let's just face it, that death made nobody cry. There was no emotion. This fight was lackluster. It was over too quick. And for you to preview how big of a foe Vecna and the Mind Flayer was, it was over quicker than a Super Mario Brothers battle. Matter of fact, I would say Super Mario Brothers battles are more intense than the Battle of Vecna and the Mind Flayer together. And when did he become a gigantic rock spider? I thought he was like a gigantic smoke thing in the sky, and he was way bigger in the previous seasons. He was like Earth-size big. He wasn't just a rock spider. And like, I was let down. I was let down by the form of the Mind Flayer. It felt last minute and put together. And Vecna's fight against El, nah, bruh. For him to show how formidable he was and how formidable he has been, even with Will messing with his mind was strong enough for him to push through the mountain. See, this is one thing you guys didn't pay attention to. If his mind was strong enough for him to push past his own fears through the mountain, that means he was stronger than what Will could do in his mind. And like he said to Will, I chose this. You thinking I'm a victim, I chose this. So Will's gigantic white eye powers and crunching Demogorgons meant nothing. It was Jon Snow. Like, they previewed his character to have this gigantic ability, and when we came to see that gigantic ability used, it meant nothing, because it went nothing. It went nowhere. He didn't use it against the spider. He didn't use it against Vecna. He was just in Vecna's mind. And I was let down. I was let down with El's battle. And then, here's the thing. If you're going to give us a sacrificial death, El at the end. And here's the thing. First of all, let's talk about motivations. The military. They see the gigantic planet coming down to crash into the earth. They know about Vecna. They know about the Demogorgons. At what point do they stop chasing humans and start trying to stop the world from ending? Because I understand they want to do experiments. I understand they want experiments on children and make special power kids. But here's the thing. If there is no world to live in, you can't make experiments. So at a certain point, you would have to join the children in their fight. The enemy is my friend. But at no point does Linda Hamilton or her military men join in the fight. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You literally see the world falling down around you. You just lost like 300 men in a Demogorgon attack, like several Demogorgon attacks, and yet you're still going after humans. Do you see how stupid that sounds? You didn't even align your interest for a moment. You could have been like, we're aligning our interests, and then afterwards we're gonna take them. We're gonna take down the children. No, you didn't. So the motivation to keep going after the humans, it's stupid. It's ludicrous. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Because at the end, your end game is what? You have a lab to study children in a world that doesn't exist? He's going to destroy the world. If you're as smart as you said you are, and you know as much as you say you know, because you can see the world coming down in you, you can see the Demogorgon attacks, you can see the evil. So if you're as smart as you say you are, and you know as much as you say you know, then the world ending ends for you too as well. So it doesn't make sense for you to chase people and try to stop people from trying to stop the world ending that you're living in. Doesn't make sense. But I digress. That's what they did. So at the end of the ginormous battle, which was very minuscule, Elle somehow got out the truck, which they're all driving in the truck. So she jumped out the truck without them noticing, somehow. And the military stops them and they're all hemming them up. I don't know why. Because the script said so. And the gate is supposed to explode. Now here's the thing. I don't know if you guys paid attention in the last few episodes, but the wormhole that they're talking about, that experience on Hawkins on one side and the Upside Down on the other, and they said if the wormhole is destroyed, it's game over for both sides. You set an explosion that would basically tear apart you and the other side. That's why Dustin tried to stop you. Remember on the roof? He tried to stop you because it would destroy everybody and everything. It would rip a hole in space-time fabric. You all would lose endgame. But that was thrown out for the next episode finale when that's exactly what we want to do. So somehow, them setting off an explosion now, doing exactly what Dustin said not to do because of what it would do, now just seals off the breach and everybody's safe. Really? Collapsing the wormhole on itself. Now here's another thing. If the Doctor created the matter, then that means Elle couldn't have pushed Henry Creel through a opening, creating the Upside Down, creating Vecna. Because either she created Vecna, or the suitcase created Vecna, or the lab experiments created Vecna. It's a complicated storyline with a bunch of plot holes. And here is where we find ourselves at the end of Stranger Things. They button everything up, they explain everything away, and then it ends exactly the way I knew it would, over a Dungeons and Dragon game. Now that was the rather nice point. It ending with a Dungeons and Dragon game where Mike explains what he hopes everybody's life becomes and what he thinks and hopes happened to Elle. And they leave it open-ended for you to decide. You know, like The Thing, they leave it open-ended to whether or not, you know what I'm saying, Childs was the thing or McCready was the thing. They leave it open-ended to see whether or not Elle is gone or whether or not she's alive. And it's just lazy writing at that point because, like, you had 5 years to give us an ending. You had an extended point to give us an ending. Something a lot of TV series don't do. You had an extended period of time. Over what, $400-500 million? And this is the result. This is the end result. I can't believe this is what you wanted for your end result product. And that leaves me with a sour taste in my mouth. So when Stranger Things comes to a end, I will say season 1 through 4 were pretty good. Bordering on amazing. Everything but the Kali episodes because I didn't like the whole sister arc. I didn't like it. We didn't need that. Like, I don't know where you were going with that, and obviously I'm not the only person, because it was like your lowest rated season and episodes. So I don't know why you shoehorned her back in for the last season. I don't get that. I don't get why you took Sean Astin out. Sean Astin actually, I thought, brought a lot to the show, but you couldn't figure out to do with it. And it's funny because I look at what you did over the previous 4 seasons, only to undo almost everything you did in the last season. You showed a relationship between 2 people coming to fruition, only at the end of the world to break them up. Why? What was the point? You showed that music could reach people on the other side. Remember, Should I Stay or Should I Go? With Will and his brother reaching him, running up that hill. Max, remember? You showed how music reached them, to it meaning nothing. There were storylines that were going places amazing. Max probably having powers went nowhere. There were things that were going, and you darkening Eddie's death by pretending he meant nothing. What were the point of those remarks? And I do believe that at the end of a season finale, series finale, you should have flashbacked to everything. Not just a quick montage. I think you needed to flashback through everything. And when I say this because I think back to other TV series. Supernatural. There were certain season finales where I even say season 5 finale, when Michael took over Dean and Sammy's brother, and Sammy got taken over by Lucifer, and they were supposed to have the fight at Stoll Cemetery, and Dean showed up. And it was like a big showdown and fight because Dean believed Sammy was in there somehow. And Castiel showed up and Molotov cocktail Castiel. So Lucifer snapped his fingers and blew up Castiel. And then he went over and beat the living blue monkey piss out of Dean to the point where his face looked like a mashed potato. And it was Dean basically dying, calling out to Sammy, which tethered something in Sammy. And then in that one moment, he saw a flash of light and they triggered a montage. That is a moment you guys needed in your season, your series finale. It is a rollback through all 4 seasons. And emotional. And I think that's what your series finale missed. Emotion. You tried very hard, but there was no emotionality. There was at no point that I felt moved to cry. There was at no point that I felt moved to tears. There was at no point that I felt moved to laughter. There was at no point that I felt any danger. There was at no point that I felt anybody's lives was in danger. There was at no point that I felt anything. The previous season, with Vecna going into people's bedrooms and folding them like lawn chairs, I felt something. That was missing this season. And your series finale, your big ending, it should have been a crescendo, but instead it left me with a empty, hollow feeling. And I'm sad that I waited 5 years for that, unfortunately. So the series as a whole was brought down by season 5. I will say that. Having said that, I will still give the series a gold. Netflix Stranger Things is a gold series. But I will say, like Game of Thrones, the last season is painful to watch. all because I guarantee you this is not the product they wanted to put out. I guarantee you there were too many hands in the pot, and from what I understand, there was more than an hour cut from every episode, including the series finale. And that's the problem. Too many hands in the pot, change the narrative, and what you're left with is a product that is less than what you wanted. And it's given to the public to taste. And from what I've seen on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, it's not going over too well. I mean, a few people like it, but the majority of people, they're not feeling it. And I have to say, I'm amongst them. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you can watch it end, but it is a shipwreck. And it is an end. So, and to that, you will go down with the ship. Stranger Things, Season 5, the series finale. Stranger Things is over. And I'm sad to see it go, but I'm happy to see it end. Because at a certain point, you got to put it to bed. And this horse needed to be put down. Till next time, guys, I would say like and subscribe and enjoy. But I feel really bad bringing you the bad noise of Stranger Things Season 5. I wanted to enjoy it. I stayed up to enjoy it. I was optimistic and happy, but I was ultimately let down. And I feel bad. But this can't be the product that they wanted to deliver. And in that, I have a solemn heart. Because I know inside this can't be the product they wanted to deliver. So in that, I give them a hopeful platinum. Because I know somewhere, some way, there is a product out there that is worthy of the platinum rating. And those hours that were cut and clipped, if true, from what I hear online, this would have been an amazing ending to a wonderful TV series. But instead, we're left with a product of mediocre endings. Because too many hands in the pot tainted the food. Till next time, thank you for joining me on 24K. I'll see you guys next time.